All right, guys, we got a new video, and this one is called How I Knew It Was Time for a Divorce. Let's check it out.
Let me tell y'all about how I knew it was probably time for a divorce. So it started one morning about 4 or 5 months ago. So y'all, this is fresh. This is still pretty new. I was still in my bed and my husband was in the shower. I'm sleeping good. And of course, his alarm starts going off. When I went to go turn it off, I saw something very interesting. So you know how on iPhones and Androids, like you can see the last media played on your phone and it kind of scrolls across the screen? Well, when I picked up his phone to go turn the alarm off, the last media that was played was corn. Not corn, y'all know what I mean.
She's talking about PORN, okay? I'm not going to say it out because I don't know what the algorithm, I don't know what YouTube is going to do, but basically that's what he was looking at. But let's continue.
Not to get mad right away. I mean, I'm not a prude. I watch corn from time to time. But it was the timing. It was 7 in the morning, right before work. And it was just sitting there on his screen like it was the fucking weather app. The reason this bothered me is because a couple years back, he had an emotional affair that apparently had carried on for like a year. And one of the things that he blamed it on back then was a corn addiction. So seeing this on his phone felt very familiar, let's just say. So I texted him, probably not the best way to deal with this, but I wanted to name what I saw and give him a chance to be honest. So I told him, I said, I wasn't snooping. I just was turning off your alarm. Is there anything that I should know? This is what I asked him. So this Negro immediately calls me and he's like, well, I wasn't expecting you to see this. And I was like, well, shit, I wasn't expecting to see it either. Is there anything going on? He's dodging me. He ducking, dodging, not trying to answer the question.
All right, let me interrupt real quick, guys, and just say this as a married man and watching this so far. When it comes to corn, okay, I'm just going to call it corn for the sake of the video. But when it comes to corn and men and how they use it, from my experience, okay, usually it happens because they're using it as a security blanket. Let's keep it real. If you've been married a long time or even in a relationship for an extremely long time, guys, you're not going to be able to get it every time you want it. It's just not going to happen. You got to take into account the woman's cycle. You got to take into account just everyday things. Every day is not going to be a day to do it. Now, some people consider themselves lucky. They may be with a certain person and that person may, want to do it a lot. You know what I mean? But there's always going to be times where you're not going to feel like doing it. And usually it's on the woman's side. OK, the husband or the boyfriend is turning to their significant other and they're wanting to do it. And they're saying they got a headache or something's wrong and they're just not in the mood right now. OK, so usually the guy says, OK, cool. And they instead of going out and cheating, you know what I'm saying? They go out and they go pull up some corn on a corn app and they go take it to the bathroom or whatever. Okay, this is completely normal behavior for most men. Okay, this is not out of left field. So, don't treat it as such. All right. But anyway, let's continue.
Finally, after the third time I asked, he finally said it. He'd been thinking about polyamory. Y'all didn't see it going there now, did you? Now listen. Polyamory wasn't even new to us. Not that we participated in it, but I had casually brought it up to him over like a decade ago. Like it was one of those maybe in 10 years conversations. But this Negro never let it go. And here we were. So at first, I was devastated. I'm going to be honest. But I was also so broken at that point in our relationship that I actually tried to entertain it, y'all. I started texting him rules and boundaries and shit. Like I was prepping for it. But eventually I got quiet and I realized that I don't want this. I can't do this. And I told him that and he seemed fine with it. That night he came home and we barely spoke to each other. But let me tell y'all what I did. I sat on the couch. I opened up my laptop, pulled up a Google Doc, and I literally sat there for a couple of hours and wrote out everything. 16 years of history, the good, the bad, the numb. And then I dropped all that shit into ChatGPT. And I asked ChatGPT, does this man love me? And ChatGPT did the equivalent of a long sigh. And it laid out all the facts and said, from what you're describing, it does not sound like love.
Okay, let me get this straight. You went to ChatGPT. You went to some AI and you were married for 16 years and you let the chat, you let the AI give you an answer, and please don't tell me that this is the reason why you filed for divorce. Please, please, please. Maybe I'm jumping the gun here. Please don't tell me that, guys. I hope this is the reason, but it looks like this is where she's headed. But if this is true, shame on you for doing this. But let's continue.
Y'all, let me tell you, I physically threw up, and I didn't need ChatGPT to tell me this. I was there, but just to see it on paper, that shit rocked me. And so I went to him and I asked, why do you love me? And his answer, you take care of me and you take care of the kids. And let me tell y'all are probably like, girl, he had been honestly saying this for years when I would ask him. We'd been together for 16 years. So of course I'd asked him this question before, but this time something broke. Or maybe something finally clicked. I don't know. It was like a movie scene, y'all. It was like a movie was playing in my head. Scene after scene, shooting in my head. All the moments I had brushed off. All the times I told myself, that's just how he is. It felt like I was watching like my own relationship on a screen, and suddenly I could not unsee it. I saw the emotional distance I had been excusing for years. The way I had been filling in the gaps, doing the heavy lifting to just keep us connected while he stayed absent. I realized I had been building the bridge both ways and calling it love.
Okay, let me say this. This is the type of stuff I talk about in a lot of my videos, guys, when it comes to women in correlation to men. When it comes to relationships and how we both operate, we're different. Men are different than women. We all know this, right? Women tend to go into how they feel as opposed to what is or what isn't. All right. Men, usually we deal with facts. Okay. We deal with those type of situations. Women like to do things with their emotions. Okay. Now, I've been told by plenty of women in my past that I really didn't have an emotional bone in my body, or I didn't know how to reciprocate my feelings towards them. Okay. And this is nothing new when we talk about men, period, in general, guys. We're usually not that talented in that area or that aspect or relationships. But basically what I'm trying to say is, just because a man doesn't know how to properly convey his feelings to his wife, doesn't mean he doesn't love her. Okay. There will be patches. There always will be issues in any relationship. And what I'm seeing here is a 16-year marriage thrown away because she feels some type of way about how he's, I guess, dealing with her, because he's not the one asking for the divorce. Okay. It looks like she's the one, guys. He's not initiating it. Okay. Apparently, it looks to me that he's not giving her the type of emotional support that she feels she needs in this relationship. But she just said that he's been this way for years, right? He's been this way for years. She knows that this is him, and she chalked it up as this. That's just how he is. Okay. Most men are not going to marry a woman, commit to a certain person for the entire rest of their life if they don't love that person, guys. I think she's just not satisfied with how he shows his love to her or how he loves her. Okay. If he's not loving her in a certain way or situational type of way, she's not happy with it. Right. You can't make people love you the way you want to be loved, if that makes sense. Okay. You can still love somebody, but the way you love them may not be, what this other person wants it to be. A lot of times women want these storybook romances. The stuff they watch in these movies that aren't necessarily real. They want their husband or boyfriends to, demonstrate that type of behavior, guys. And a lot of us don't move like that. We don't rock like that. But that, like I said before, does not mean we do not love them. So let's finish this up and see what else she has to say before I end this.
And in that moment, I finally saw it clearly. This wasn't just about him being broken. I was broken too. I had been so busy trying to carry the weight for both of us that I had just ignored how empty it left me. So from that moment on, we have lived in separate rooms. We were lucky and blessed enough to have a separate space for him to go. And at first, I thought that the space might spark some clarity. I thought maybe if I step back, he'd step forward and fill in the gap. But What I've gotten instead was mostly silence, avoidance, and distance. And that's when I realized this isn't the beginning of healing for our marriage. This is the beginning of the end of it. But here's the thing though. I don't share this for pity, and I'm not trying to bash him. It's just the truth, my truth. I share it because I know so many women are sitting in that same quiet confusion, just wondering if they're crazy for feeling unloved while just holding everything together. You're not crazy. You're not weak. And you damn sure aren't alone. So let me ask you this. Have you ever had that one moment where everything just clicked and you knew the relationship you were in wasn't built to last?
That's the end of the video. But I just want to say, I'm not sitting here saying that in every scenario, guys, this is the case. Everything that I've said up until this point, that's not what I'm saying. When I speak about situations like this on this channel, I'm talking about the majority, never the exception. There's always going to be an exception to the rule. That's just how it is. I'm talking about the majority. Okay. And what tends to happen a lot in these videos, sometimes in my comment section and things of that nature, you will have women get down here and try to bite my head off and saying, well, that's not true for me, or that's not true for her. And like I said before, I'm not talking about the exception. I'm talking about the majority. And I'm speaking from a man's perspective here. Okay. I'm sure there's a lot of men out here. If they watch this video, they will see what our side is looking like. Okay. Because a lot of men will wake up one day and our wives or girlfriends will come up to us and say, you know what, it's over. And we're shook. We don't know what the hell's going on. We're like, why? What happened? What did I do? You know what I'm saying? And they'll say, well, I'm just not happy anymore because I don't feel loved. I don't feel like this. I don't feel like that. You're not showing me this. You're not showing me that. Right. And a lot of us, there's a lot of men out here, guys. There are a lot of us out here in this world moving around that express ourselves in a way that isn't, I guess, quote unquote, normal in the eyes of a lot of women. OK, but that does not mean that that man does not care for that woman, does not love that woman. That is just a thing. OK, and whenever you've been in a relationship for a long time, you know, women may start to question these things. But in this video here, she's saying that he's been like this for years. OK, he's been like this for a long time. OK, so I don't see this guy changing. I see that this guy is who he is, and he's always been moving like this. I think that over time, she became unhappy with the way he was and decided to come and go ahead with this divorce, guys. And like I said, I guarantee you, initiated it. All right. He did not initiate this divorce. This was all on her. OK. And as a man, sometimes you just look, man. Sometimes you just don't have time to fight. You don't feel like fighting. You don't feel like dealing with all the extra shit, man. You know what I mean? When you come home, you don't want to put up with this or deal with that. So instead of even lifting a finger to try to fight, we just say, you know what? Fuck it. And we just do whatever. Okay, that's what you want to do. Okay, fine. I'm not going to fight you on it. I just don't have any strength left. Right. And that's just how it is. To me, it looks like she's sitting here and she's unhappy and she's not pleased with how she's been shown love. All right. She wants it shown a certain way. She hasn't been getting it. And apparently it's been happening for years. And now she wants to end this 16-year marriage. Right. I think she said something about kids as well. So, you know, they have kids. They're in a relationship, a marriage. OK, a family. Right. A nucleus. And she wants to break that up because she's going through a rough patch. And that's the problem sometimes, guys. When you reach these patches in your relationships, a lot of people don't know how to deal with it correctly. All right. They figure that ending it is way better than trying to deal with it and trying to cope and trying to, you know, fix things or just trying to accept a certain person for how they are. It's not like he was cheating on her. It's not like he was doing anything crazy. And when she was talking about this emotional relationship he had with somebody, I'm kind of weary on that because she didn't go into detail on that. I can't judge on that. I don't know enough about that to say what that was, but apparently it wasn't enough for you to leave him then. Okay. And it definitely wasn't physical. And most men don't have emotional relationships with women. Usually it's a woman who has emotional relationships with a man. And that's far worse than if a guy was doing it with a woman, because when it comes to sex and things of that nature, guys, a man can have sex with a woman, believe me or not, they can have sex with a stranger and they can just leave it at that, right? A woman doesn't tend to do that. That's not how it typically works on the other side. But I'm going into another whole nother topic of discussion. But I think if I could talk to her and I could speak to her for a minute, I would say, don't throw 16 years of marriage down the drain. Okay. Unless you exhausted every other possibility and this guy is not putting his hands on you, he's not cheating on you, that is not a reason to get a divorce. Because I'll tell you this, the probability of her finding another man to give her what she claims she needs, that number is very, very low. The probability is very, very low, guys. So I'll leave it at that, guys. I want to thank everybody for watching the video. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And I will see you guys in the next video.